Hey Breck students, Frank here from AFP, and today I want to talk to you about ways to make music and ways to write songs if you're not a, you know, either classically trained musician or someone who is familiar with, music itself, like, you're new to playing guitar, or you're new to singing, or playing the drums or bass, and you just want to compose a song. Well, there's a couple of different ways to go about it. All my life, I really made my own music around the voices in my head that resembled my inspirations. Like I tried to make music like how Freddie Mercury would make music, or how Michael Jackson would make music, or even John Lennon or the Beatles. I try to like really channel them within my songwriting. And when I say voices in my head, I know that sounds a little crazy, but like, I grew up in a household where my mother played a lot of music while she was, doing things around the house and cleaning and taking care of, me as a child. She would play records and play tapes and mixtapes of just music that she had kind of, like the music of her era, the music that she grew up listening to. And a lot of that music was, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Queen, Led Zeppelin, a bunch of different bands, music, genre. And it kind of gave me like different places to channel when I found that music was the thing that I wanted to do. Like it made me kind of have a sixth sense in a way. Like I understood music, and I understood the pitch and tonality of things. I just didn't know how to read music. So explaining to someone or even trying to write it down and remember it was really hard for me. And I feel like discovering someone like Michael Jackson, he really influenced me to kind of get around that. And if you don't listen to Michael Jackson music, that's totally cool. I would say if you've never heard some Michael Jackson, you should definitely go out and listen to him, because Michael Jackson, Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, those are not even the albums that he started recording. He started at a very young age with the Jackson 5 and eventually grew up to be this, amazing pop icon. But something that I really appreciate about Michael Jackson and his music is that when you listen to his music, you can hear him in the background beatboxing. Like there's certain songs, like one of my favorite songs from Michael Jackson, probably my favorite song from Michael Jackson, is Smooth Criminal. I just think the way it was arranged and the different, bass beats and the different, drum beats at the time, the drum choices, the drum sounds that they chose is phenomenal. And if you listen carefully to the mix of his music, you can hear him kind of like, he's kind of like creating the skeleton of the song, and like you can hear the drums mimicking every little part that he's doing. Like when the hi-hat opens up, like he kind of just like does it with his mouth, and it's incredible because it adds this like element to his music that you can't really necessarily replicate if you don't know what it is. Like for someone like, I'm not a fan of people who cover Michael Jackson music, because they always miss that element, the element of his beatboxing. And I feel like a lot of his music was created like that. A lot of his music was created by like just, in interviews, when they ask him, how do you write music? He would always say that, it's, God gives it to me. It's a channel. It's something that I channel, But I feel like that's something that we can go into. Like he literally makes the music through his mouth, through beatboxing, and, has someone like Quincy Jones hire really great musicians and puts the music together for him. So, it's just the collaboration of those things is what creates a song. So like how that could tie to someone who's just starting out and who isn't Michael Jackson, who hasn't been in the Jackson 5, you can, get on GarageBand or get on your phone and either, start with hitting your chest, or, if you don't have a drum set or a drum machine, obviously there's a drum set and, a virtual drum machine on GarageBand for OS X and iOS. But like, let's say you don't have any of those things, you can just physically record yourself doing the parts and kind of sing over yourself doing the parts. Or you can go out, and they sell these little, they're basically made for guitars, but they also sell vocal loop stations where you can loop yourself. And I know there's a lot of popular artists out there that, use looping stations to kind of create songs on the spot. And what it does is it creates this, much like a studio, you start from the bottom, you start from the kick, and you're doing this with your mouth. So you're like, boom, 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 record. And then that plays, and then you do tsh, tsh, record, and that loops, and it becomes boom, tsh, boom, tsh. And you get the idea. You build it like if you were in a virtual studio or even in a real studio. That is a perfect way to write music for people who are starting out, especially if you don't have a recording studio or access to a recording studio. You can sit down and, if you're just starting off with guitar, you can get a microphone and sit in front of the sound hole of the guitar and do that same exact thing and loop and build with your, with the beatboxing and just a guitar, and you have a whole song. And that's one of the things that really sticks out to me about Michael Jackson, because Don't Stop Till You Get Enough even has like these, like I remember being in college and hearing a story about how the Jackson family was in the kitchen of their home, and they were banging on metal pots and pans and making all these different sounds, and that became the skeleton to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. And obviously, again, we have Quincy coming in and hiring all these amazing musicians to build up on this simple idea, but it's a magnificent idea because it's still validated. It's still valid. There's no rules to making music. So, I want this video to be centered around the idea that, for people who don't have recording studios or, like their own home studio or even a laptop, you are your own musician. You are your own instrument. You are your own everything. So don't feel discouraged and don't feel excluded from the music world. You can make music in any way. If you have a phone, you can voice record. If you have iPhones, I know all the new iPhone models have, well, I shouldn't say all the new, all the models, I think 2000 until 2016 have GarageBand capability. Like you can record on iOS. So definitely explore the options. And if you are interested in getting a home studio together, we made some videos a couple of weeks back about, how to make a recording studio for an economical friendly price, an economically friendly price that you can, work with, because these are some interesting times. And it's not safe to go out and go to a rehearsal spot or a studio, and unfortunately school isn't available right now. I know for a lot of the students, they don't have that don't have guitars and don't have computers and Macs and GarageBand and all this. They relied on school to make, using all that, using all those tools and resources. So if you have any questions on how to build a recording studio, or how to even start a song without a recording studio, and how to write music without a recording studio, leave a comment or leave your question in the comments below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. But for those of you who are kind of new to this music lifestyle and wanting to become musicians, I would say do a little bit of research on some great musicians. I would say listen to Michael Jackson, listen to Stevie Wonder, listen to Jimi Hendrix, listen to the musicians that had a real impact on their era, and see what they were doing, and see what you can grab, and even learn how they were doing it. One of my favorite things about Michael Jackson, like I said earlier, is the fact that he was really good at beatboxing. And if you want to even take it further, a lot of his dance moves were always in sync with the drums, or were always a musical element. It was like he was bridging three different forms of art together. The visual, the dancing, and being a musician. So you can do anything with your music. You know, it's up to here. So thank you for watching. I'm thinking about teaching a Michael Jackson song on guitar this week. I was thinking about maybe doing Queen. I'm not sure, but if you have any if you have a preference, or if you want to choose a song and you want me to cover it, just leave it in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. All right, have a good one.